Right now, the mega weapon of the armed forces, the 12-meter underwater sea drone Toloka, has set course for the Crimean Bridge, a true breakthrough for our side. This beast was talked about for the first time. The drone detector Chuyka bursts onto the battlefield, enemy Baskilotniks Basils are nearby, and with the lightning-fast actions of our forces, a miracle happens. Zelenskyy made a loud statement. Ukraine is opening partial arms exports and the world is giving a standing ovation. There's more to come, watch until the end. Welcome, this is Ukraine Today. I am Darina Hutsakalo and here are the latest events. Ukraine has shocked the world. The largest maritime drone, Toloka, is going on the hunt. The first photos are impressive. It has become known that this is just one of a family of underwater drones, which includes at least 3 models. These are the Toloka 200, Toloka 400, and Toloka 1000. They are capable of independently detecting, classifying, and neutralizing underwater mines. Experts have revealed the unique abilities of each of them. Thus, the Toloka 200 is the smallest in the lineup, an autonomous underwater drone powered by electric motors.
It has a range of up to 100 kilometers and its payload capacity, ammunition, explosives, is up to 15 kilograms. It can operate autonomously for up to 15 days. Its working depth is up to 300 meters. Typical missions include providing communication systems, radio relay, reconnaissance, strike missions, and mine laying.
The Toloka 400 underwater drone also impresses with its characteristics. It is designed for medium-range missions and, unlike the previous model, can carry a significantly larger payload.
This is an underwater vehicle with a hybrid power unit designed for reconnaissance, mine-laying, signal relay, and strike missions in the medium-range zone up to 1,200 kilometers. The payload capacity is 500 kilograms. It can operate autonomously for up to 60 days. Operational depth is up to 300 meters.
And now the flagship, the Block 1000. It's impressive not only in size but also in combat capabilities.
It is designed to deliver cargo weighing up to 5 tons over a distance of up to 2,000 kilometers. Typical tasks include destroying large stationary targets and attacking objectives in combat zones. It is also possible to integrate specialized equipment for reconnaissance, mine laying, or mapping minefields, among other tasks.
For the first time, Ukrainian experts have revealed which high-value targets among the enemy's military infrastructure could be easily destroyed by these ultra-powerful naval drones.
The Crimean Bridge or enemy bases in Sevastopol or Novorossiysk, because the naval drones we currently have are not really suitable for this purpose, because they can strike a surface ship or some kind of reinforced concrete structure. They can do it, but the effect will be minimal. But with underwater drones, the situation is different.
And this is not the end of the achievements of the Ukrainian defense industry. Our team has presented the latest version of the portable drone detector, Chuyka 3.0.
The device detects and intercepts the analog video signal from an FP drone to its operator. After being turned on, Chuyka scans frequencies in 3 key bands within 4 to 8 seconds, covering up to 95% of the most common FP drone frequencies.
Chuyka is also known to alert users to threats with an audible signal, and it is already in high demand among defenders. The company in turn has ramped up production to 3,000 units per month and plans to expand its manufacturing capacity.
Bluebird is working on versions of the Chuyka for vehicles and for command posts, where the screen is separate and the portable unit with antennas is separate, so that nothing interferes with signal reception. They are also developing detectors to identify FP drones in additional frequency ranges that the enemy could potentially use on the battlefield.
Ukraine is partially opening up arms exports, and President Volodymyr Zelenskyy made this announcement after presenting a number of MAGA Zbroya models.
Right now, we are at a point where we have weapons, we have capabilities, but we lack funding. And this has become a kind of permanent feeling that we are constantly facing some sort of shortage, but we really don't want to reduce our production capabilities.
Surplus Ukrainian-made weapons, which are plentiful in storage, are planned to be sold to allies so that the proceeds can be used to finance the production of scarce drones.
Ukraine can produce far more naval drones than we actually need for our own purposes. This means that either we reduce our production capacity or we allow ourselves to sell exactly the amount we are able to produce.
However, that's not all. Ukraine is increasing the production of cruise missiles. Now there's even more fury. Our engineers have achieved the impossible. The production capacity for Flamingo will increase fourfold. A real breakthrough is in the works, not just with missiles and drones. What kind of hellish surprise have Ukrainian forces prepared for the enemy? Don't miss the exclusive details. Coming up next.
A new level in scale, Ukraine is ramping up the production of cruise missiles. The developers of the Ukrainian Flamingo missile have announced that the company is producing 50 missiles per month and plans to reach a daily output of 7 missiles by the end of the year. The company claims that their proprietary wing manufacturing technology is helping to scale up production by shortening the production cycle. It should be noted that the Ukrainian missile can fly up to 3,000 kilometers and carry a ton of explosives. In August, the Flamingo struck Russian targets in temporarily occupied Crimea. Early in the morning, 3 missiles were launched from the Ukrainian coast. A base of Russian border guards, controlled by the aggressor's Federal Security Service, was hit. Additionally, the Flamingo manufacturers announced the development of their own ballistic missiles FP7 and FP9, as well as air defense systems. Thanks to private companies, Ukraine is able to create innovations, develop its defense industry, and effectively implement them on the battlefield.
It was precisely during the years of the full-scale invasion that Ukraine's defense sector made a revolutionary breakthrough in the production of Ukrainian ballistic missiles. First and foremost, this refers to the modernized version of the Neptune missile. However, the anti-ship version of the Neptune missile was modernized to strike land targets. And at the moment, as a result of improved tactical and technical characteristics, according to the developers' estimates, the range of the Neptune has been extended to 1,000 kilometers. In addition, the Ukrainian Defense Forces are already equipped with the previously mentioned operational tactical complex HROM, with a strike range of up to 500 kilometers. Plus, during the years of war, the Ukrainian Defense Forces have demonstrated a unique ability to modernize even Soviet-era weapon systems. I'm referring specifically to the S-200 surface-to-air missile system.
Also, one of the most important developments has been missile drones, such as Palyanitsia, Peklo, Ruta, and Bars.
During the period of the full-scale invasion, Ukraine's defense industry has rapidly evolved in the production of its own strike systems. And accordingly, let's also remember the strike drones. Here, according to the words of the KLGA, that is, this is an official recognition of Ukraine's achievements. They hold leading positions in this area.
The armed forces of Ukraine are successfully striking military targets of the Russian Federation, with drone systems targeting oil refineries. Drone attacks have disabled up to 17% of Russia's oil refining capacity, and Ukraine is also actively working on the production of interceptor drones. The Minister of Defense stated that Kyiv will soon reach the capacity to deploy at least 1,000 such UAVs per day to defend against Russian attacks.
Ukraine is taking a leading position in the production of interceptor drones. This is Ukrainian science at work. To fully understand the critical situation during the most recent provocation by the Russian Federation, specifically the egregious violation of Polish airspace, in a concerted effort to effectively neutralize the German decoy drones, which cost approximately $10,000 each, the country was compelled to utilize its advanced air defense systems, valued at a substantial $1.5 million. At the same time, on the Ukrainian side, they are currently scaling up the so-called tactic of kamikaze drones, as well as the use of interceptor drones.
Ukraine is also developing a new air defense system of the air-to-air class, capable of covering large areas. All this means that Ukrainian developers have demonstrated the ability to create high-precision weaponry capable of destroying important enemy military targets at long distances.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
A new nightmare for the enemy is on the way. A new drone, the Dozor A1, has appeared in the sky. The hunt has begun, and now the very sky has become a deadly trap for the invaders. The Garan drones are already becoming a thing of the past. The Russian army is suffering devastating losses. The Russians are clutching their heads in despair. Ukrainian technologies have backed them into a corner. Artificial intelligence has made a breakthrough and fundamentally changed the situation at the front. Our TK drone is hiding some kind of secret. A highly important target has come into its sights. We'll tell you about it right now.
New technologies, new challenges. Artificial intelligence, having already conquered advanced gadget users, is now being fully utilized in warfare. Today, almost no modern drone is produced without this technology. Ukrainians are, of course, among the leading UAV designers, and our developers are already actively testing a new interceptor drone. The Ukrainian company Varta is working on implementing an autonomous detection and tracking system in reconnaissance UAVs and FPV drones for interceptor drones based on artificial intelligence.
Some components of the artificial intelligence system are already being used in the war that Russia has unleashed against Ukraine. Ukraine is defending itself with technologies that help save human resources, especially when it comes to time. Ukraine is defending itself by using technological companies that make it possible to maximize the efficiency of drones, especially in the final meters of approaching a target, when control by the operator is already being lost.
It is reported that the drone will be called Varta Dozor A1 and is already undergoing its final phase of testing. Its main task will be to destroy Russian strike UAVs, which are launched daily against peaceful cities in Ukraine.
We're talking about Giran, Gerber, Parodia and other drones. Overall, as of today, Russia is capable of producing and deploying up to 5,000 to 6,000 such drones per month. The largest attack we've seen before involved up to 500 drones, but in order to carry out such an attack, Russia needed at least 3 to 4 days to accumulate them.
It has been stated that the Dozor A1 will be able to independently detect and destroy enemy FPV and reconnaissance UAVs, even under conditions of electronic warfare countermeasures. This means the drone can be used directly on the front lines, where there are plenty of targets for it literally every minute, since Russia has significantly increased its use of drones recently.
After the initial strike, the enemy aircraft or drone detonates, and its own destructive shrapnel then completely destroys the enemy drone.
However, drone warfare, as they say one-on-one, still allows for the possibility of a miss. No matter how hard artificial intelligence tries, some Russian drones are also equipped with countermeasures. That's why engineers are already working on improving Dozor A1.
According to a publication by Militarny, there are also plans to integrate situational awareness systems in the future, in particular the Delta system. If implemented in the future, this will allow a single operator to control a group of 5 to 7 interceptors, creating the concept of the so-called small sky. In the air defense segment, Delta interceptor drones will play a key role.
Russian designers are also trying to catch up with our engineers. One of the enemy's new developments is the BM-35 kamikaze drone. A video of its use in the center of Sumy recently surfaced, by the way. Our experts are still studying the characteristics of this UAV. It is unknown what kind of warhead it can be equipped with. However, the lawnmower engine and the propeller-driven system indicate that the drone cannot fly far and will not be used against military targets. It was apparently designed specifically to terrorize civilians in frontline cities.
We are currently fighting against a truly dangerous, incredibly aggressive enemy who absolutely does not value human life in any way, shape or form. And we, as a collective, need to be very careful and extremely vigilant about the significant changes that are happening there at this very moment. Temporary equipment on Russian territory may be operational. Russia may circumvent sanctions to produce prototypes. They cannot circumvent sanctions when it comes to mass production, when there is a need to produce thousands of units. They are demonstrating an inability to produce drones independently.
The confirmation by NMTZ was the result of the work of Ukrainian experts who, at the site of the impact, studied the remains of the BM-35, and as a result, about half of the components were of foreign manufacture.
The drone's design contains at least 41 foreign components, including from Switzerland, the USA, and Taiwan, with most of the parts originating from China.
According to analysts, one of the significant levers of influence on the situation could be the strengthening of US and European sanctions, as well as stricter enforcement of existing restrictions. After all, the more Russian loopholes are closed, the fewer drones will end up raining down on Ukrainians. At the same time, it is important to develop our own technologies, so that with every new Russian attack, they receive an adequate response.
Ukraine is triumphing. According to US and TID press data, our capabilities have already reached the level of Russia's Yelabuga, where Shaheds are assembled. And soon we can expect parity in the number of strike drones on both sides. Find out more details in the report.
To catch up and surpass, Ukraine has reached production rates of its own strike drones comparable to those of Russia. First and foremost, this refers to the latest long-range UAV FP1. According to the Associated Press, Ukraine has managed to scale up its production capacity and is now assembling about 100 drones per day. At the same time, the drone is significantly cheaper than the Shahed. One FP1 costs $55,000.
The overall technical specifications are not much different from those of the Shaheds. Of course, it has a different design, but its function is the same, even though it can fly a bit farther and carry a slightly heavier payload and is somewhat more advanced in terms of hitting a specific target accurately. There has not been a single instance where the FP1 accidentally hit civilian objects. That's why it's very convenient for understanding how to plan a mission, making it safe and highly accurate. And it's also 5 times cheaper than the Shahed, which is very useful for our Ukraine, which isn't that wealthy.
The secret is simple, experts explain. Ukraine does not have uninterrupted supplies of engines from Iran and China. We don't have the same production capacities as Russia, nor do we have as much money. Accordingly, our engineers have simplified everything as much as possible, with just one condition. The drone absolutely must reach and hit the intended target.
The structural frame of the FP1 drone is made of plywood. These elements are milled on a laser machine. This is about a very cheap and mass-produced solution. The outer shell is then attached to this frame using slot and clamp connections. For a kamikaze drone, which is meant to make only a single flight in its lifetime, ending with it simply crashing into the target and exploding, this is not just sufficient, it is the right approach.
At the same time, despite its outward simplicity, the FP1's internal components are quite advanced technologically. The drone is equipped with a whole array of sensors and modules that help it navigate through enemy EW zones. It can identify the target and approach it along the most effective trajectory.
Ukraine has posed a number of challenges that have enabled the creation of unmanned systems meeting the demands of modern warfare. Drones that are accurate to the point of hitting their targets, capable of bypassing electronic warfare and able to operate even without satellite navigation support. So here, in fact, we're talking about technological advancements that we've achieved and the solutions we've proposed, which allow us to operate deep within the territory of the Russian Federation.
Deep means about 1,600 kilometers. At the same time, the FP1 carries a rather powerful warhead over this distance, about 60 kilograms. There is also the possibility of increasing the amount of explosives to 120 kilograms by partially reducing the range.
This latest drone easily reached the strike zone of the Russian capital and even circled it 2 more times or so. Moreover, a range of 1,600 kilometers makes such remote regions of Russia as Udmurtia, Tatarstan, Samara Oblast, Orenburg, Vologda, Kostroma, Perm Krai, Bashkortostan, Yekaterinburg, and even Murmansk Oblast accessible to Ukrainian defense forces. You don't have enough fingers on your hands to count them all. So we understand that Putin tried to move his drone or missile factories further away, but moving them farther from the border didn't save him.
At the same time, as noted in the Financial Times article, the FP1 is far from the only Ukrainian strike drone hitting targets in Russia every night. Combined with the number of other UAVs produced, the total is quite impressive.
A warhead weighing a ton and a flight range well over 1,000 kilometers. Ukrainian photographer Yefrem Lukatsky, who works with Associated Press, published photos of the new Ukrainian long-range missile, Flamingo.
Flamingo missiles, produced in Ukraine with a range of over 3,000 kilometers, have entered serial production. And apparently these photos are from one of the country's leading defense companies, Firepoint, at an undisclosed location in Ukraine.
The caption under the photo states that it was taken on August 14th in the workshop of the defense company Firepoint. In the photo, the missiles are already prepared for shipment.
How do you assess the achievements of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex? Share your opinion in the comments below. Leave a like under the video and stay up to date with the main news. We have almost 470,000 subscribers. There's more to come. See you soon.